Before leaving to work for the Ottawa Sun, we talked with journalist Corey Larocque about his time with the Review and his experiences covering the city of Niagara Falls. What was it like being a journalist in Niagara Falls?
It was exciting. I used to tell my friends that it was kind of a wild and crazy news town. I think you had to go to, Toronto or Buffalo or Ottawa in this area to experience a news town that's as good as Niagara Falls.
What sticks out in your mind as the biggest story that you've covered?
Wow, the single biggest story I think is probably the transformation of Niagara Falls is likely the biggest story that I've covered in the last 15 years. Because when I came here, 12 stories was the Sheraton Fallsview Hotel was, I think, 12 stories at the time. That was the biggest thing in the city. And now you've got the Hilton at 58. And the way that Niagara Falls changed between the late 90s and today has just been an incredible transformation.
What are some personalities that you've covered in the past that you found made for good copy?
Good copy? No question that Wayne Thompson, when he was mayor, was maybe one of the biggest personalities in the city. Great. Didn't always like what you wrote about him or wrote about City Hall, but always cooperative in calling you back. Lightning quick response, and I think the changes that you've seen in Niagara Falls, especially in the first half when I was here, really have a lot to do with him.
How do you deal with negative reactions to a story?
It's tough. You have to have a thick skin, and that's one of the things that as a reporter, as a journalist, you develop over the years, and that just comes with practice. You're right. It's I think probably one of the best examples was towards the end of my term at the Review when Kim Crater resigned from as MPP. The Review went after that story pretty hard, and it was my job to assign reporters to try and find out more about kind of that mysterious departure. And we did it. We did it professionally. We did it the way that we were supposed to. But readers were upset with me for writing columns, demanding a more in-depth explanation. They were mad at me for sending reporters to knock on his door twice a day to try and get the answers. But I've bumped into him a lot since I left the paper, and Kim understood why we were doing it and what we were doing. So even the people I think when people are fair, even your sources who are on the receiving end of it, I think they've got a sense of why you're doing it and they understand the game.
Now, being out of journalism for a year, what is it that you've missed the most?
Wow. Yeah, it's the writing, it's the getting to it's the getting to know people, getting to tell their stories, finding out what the big news of the day is, and the challenge. And I think all journalists thrive on the challenge of finding out as much as they can about something in a very short period of time and sharing it with their audience or with their readers.
We'd like to thank Corey for taking the time to talk with us and wish him the best of luck in his new position at the Ottawa Sun. From Niagara Falls reporting for The Source, I'm Mitchell Glass.